Okay, so let me know if you guys are able to see my screen.
Yeah, you can see.
Okay,
You can see.
okay, thank you. Yeah, so welcome to our Toronto MuleSoft meetup. 15th. This is our 15th meetup. The topic for today's meetup will be MuleSoft with Azure ServiceBus. Uh, a little bit of introduction of the organizers. So, Mahesh, let's start with you first.
Yeah, hello everyone. So my name is Mahesh, and I'm working with uh, Mackenzie Investments as a MuleSoft developer right now. I have around 10 years of experience in IT and 7 years of integration. And then with MuleSoft, I have around more than 3+ years of experience. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much about me.
Yep. Thanks, Mahesh.
Thanks.
Kishore.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Good evening. My name is Kishore. I'm working as a solutions architect here at MuleSoft, and I'm part of the MuleSoft Professional Services Group. So we help customers with the platform setup and also the C4E setup and like other like integration related help and all. So like I have 15 years of experience in integration and API design and development. So that's pretty much.
Yep. Thanks, Kishore. And
Thank you.
yeah, I am Anurag Trivedi. I'm currently working with Epicero as a solution architect, associate solution architect. I have around 9 years of total experience and around 6 years of experience in MuleSoft. Uh, yeah, that's it. I worked with various clients. Currently, I'm working in healthcare domain. I started my journey in 2015, and I have worked with various versions of MuleSoft, like starting with 3.3 and currently with 4.3. So after that, we'll move to our introduction of the speaker section. Hiren will be speaking about our today's topic. Hiren?
Yeah, hi guys. This is Zain Anajwala. I'm working with Ceridian right now. I'm like manager of IT integration. So me and my team, like we are the basic dedicated to like designing as well as development of the integrations, right? And I'm like a MuleSoft mentor. I'm uh, I'm all certified, right? Like whatever MuleSoft has right now. And yeah, and about Ceridian, like Ceridian is a like a HR HCM company. We have a product called Dayforce. So Dayforce is basically where you can hire, fire, pay, and all those things can be done. We got like around 6,000 employees, and we have like so far in last 2 years we have built like more than 50 plus integrations. Couple of them are like our product customer based integrations. So yeah, that's all we do
Okay,
in Sweden.
thanks. Yeah,
Thanks.
thanks, Hiren. Uh, we have some safe harbor statement. You can read it through. Uh, After that, there is a new developer tutorials available on the site. You can go ahead and visit that. It will be helpful in your if you are starting your journey with the MuleSoft. If you have any feedback regarding that, you can share it in the email on the slides. We are going to share these slides at the end of the meetup. That will be available at our event page. There is a Q&A tab available on the right section of it where you can type in your questions you have any. Uh, I think that's it. And after that, at the end of the presentation, we'll have one quiz. So basically, how it works is, we have selected 3 questions from the topic itself, and we will choose one of the winners on the basis of there is a wheel of names that we are going to do at the end of the session, and after that, we'll announce the winner. Winners will have a voucher allocated to him, which they can utilize for the trading purpose. Uh, that's being said, I think I'll stop sharing now and I'll request Hiren to start sharing and start the session now. Thanks everyone
Sure.
again.
Thanks, Anurag. Okay. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yes, Hiren, we can.
Okay, cool. So today I'm gonna cover like how we can use MuleSoft with Microsoft Azure Service Bus, right? So like to start the journey, right? Like let's start with what is Azure Service Bus, right? So what does Service Bus does, right? So like Service Bus basically it's a product of Microsoft. Microsoft like as a cloud Azure platform, right? So it's a cloud-based messaging service, right? So usually known as like MES, right? So what it allows us, right? So basically it allows us to set up like near real-time functionality. Like you can basically make your transactions and the journey of your I would say user journey, right? Like in asynchronous pattern, right? So you can basically decouple the different applications, right? Like let's say you got like a ordering system, right? So you do not let's say once the customer places an order, right? So you do like say you have a emailing system. Once the order confirms, right? So you want to send an email, so you can basically decouple this kind of functionalities, right? Like using the service bus, right? So and service bus has like a functionality to distribute the message to multiple independent consumers, right? So it's like you can broadcast a message and like related parties will basically subscribe it and they can process the message, right? Kind of stuff. And this can help you, right? Like let's say all of a sudden you got like huge orders, right? So you don't want to harm the system, right? So in those kind of scenarios, right? Like this Azure Service Bus can be helpful with the help of this service bus, right? So basically what you can do, you can connect your on-prem system to the cloud, right? Like and you can do other way around, right? Like let's say you have something on cloud you want to connect to on-prem, you can do it using service bus, right? So now in service bus, right, like there are multiple terminologies, right? So I'm gonna talk about like let's say namespace, right? So what is namespace, right? So namespace is basically a container in which all the entity resides. All entity means like let's say your queues, topics, subscriptions, rules, everything goes under that namespace. Right now, what is queue, right? So queue is basically like point-to-point communication. Let's say there is a system A which is publishing the message and system B is basically consuming it, right? You cannot have like multiple consumer on the same queue, right? So that's not the functionality of the queue. But now Service Bus has a functionality called topic, right? So topic is basically something, right? Like it's a broadcasting, right? So let's say you published on a topic and you can have as many subscriber as you want, right? Like so you can create like let's say 100 subscriptions, right? So what topic is gonna do, topic will create 100 copy of the message and it will deliver to the each of the subscription, right? So that's what topic does. So this is helpful, right? Like when you have such scenarios, right? Like let's say you want to publish a message to 10 different systems, right? So in that case, you will be just publishing on the topic and then that will be applied. Then all of the related subscription will receive the message. The good part of this, right? Like you can apply the rules on the subscriptions, right? So the rule basically helps you. Let's say you have 10 different message types, right? So you can basically filter out like based on the rules, right? And based on that, right, like your application will receive the message, right? So these are like basic functionalities, right, like which a service bus offers, right? Now there are a couple of advanced features, right, like which you get it. Like now this feature depends upon like which kind of subscription you are having with Azure, right? So now like if I talk about like couple like advanced features of this, right? So let's say this first one, right, like message sessions, right? So this feature allows you to basically have a FIFO functionality. So this basically maintain the in and out of the message, right? Like and it is basically maintain right like sequencing of the message, right? Now, if I talk about like auto forwarding, right? So auto forwarding feature is basically, let's say if your queue or subscription, right, like you want to forward the message from them, right? So this feature, yeah, can be helpful in that scenario. What happens in this feature, right, like as soon as the message comes to that particular queue or subscription, it will forward it to the topic in the same namespace. You cannot use like a different namespace in this case, and it will automatically delete from your origin source, right? So at the end, it's kind of like call forwarding, right? So that's a similar functional it's doing, right? So now dead lettering, right? So this is like a DLQ, right? So where you want unprocessed, or maybe let's say unprocessed or failure, or all those kind of data, right? Like all those kind of message, and those message like you can manually go and refer it in the future, and you can basically delete them as well, right? Now this is one of the good feature, right? Scheduled delivery. So scheduled delivery is like something like, let's say you wanna delay your message processing, right? Let's say you publish something, you want like that message to be like appear after 15 minutes, right? So you can do this thing, or let's say you wanna uh, send a message that should appear like, let's say sharp 7 p.m., right? So in those scenario, right, like the scheduled delivery will be helpful. Now this message deferral, right? So this message deferral is basically, let's say right now you received a message, but your application is quite busy in processing something else, so you can use this functionality, right? Like you can basically like process those you can send that, right? Like, okay, you want to process this message after some time, and that's what it does, right? So that's a message deferral. Now if I talk about transactions, right? So transactions can help you to group the messages, right? So let's say you got like 10 messages, and you got like one like transaction ID. You can basically club those messages and process it, right? Now filtering and actions. So this feature is basically, as I said, right, like you can apply the rules on the subscription, right? So based on the rule, right, your subscription will receive a message. That's what this filtering is all about. Auto delete on item, right? Like you can automatically select you basically you can choose to delete the message automatically from your queue or subscription, right? Let's say, and but here the minimum time is 5 minutes, right? Like let's say you can set it up like after 5 minutes, let's say no one consumes the message, delete it, right? Kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
that's the feature available.
Hiren,
Yeah,
we have one question from
sure.
Susmita. Is message deferral manual process?
No, it's a automated one. It's a property that you can enable. Like it's on Azure portal.
Okay,
To
thanks.
have this one, it's like you need to have a premium tier of Azure subscription.
Okay, okay, thanks. Hopefully, Susmita, that answers your question. Yeah, Hiren, go
Yeah.
ahead.
Now, duplicate deletion, right? So let's say due to some reason your source system, right, like sent like same message, let's say 5 times, right? So this feature can help you to delete those messages automatically, so that your target system will receive like a unique message, right? So that is duplicate detection, right? Now, these are like subscription tiers, right? So this service is like not that costly, right? So if you go with the basic one, so it charges like 5 cents for the million messages, right? But it doesn't come with like all the functionalities. If you see here, right, like it gives you just queues and schedule message. It doesn't give you topic, then transaction, this duplication, all those things, right? It doesn't give you all of those details. If you go with the standard, right, so you get like most of the messages, but you don't get like sorry, most of the features, but you don't get like disaster recovery and all those things. And the cost of this one is like if I'm not wrong, it's around like 1.2 cents per hour. So it will be charged like based on hours. And let's say if you got like more than 18 million messages, then there is a different tier for pricing. And for premium, like you are paying almost dollar per hour, right? And it covers everything, right? And you can find more details like on this link attached here. Okay, now enough of that service bus, right? Now let's come to like what we use, right? So MuleSoft, right? So like now how you connect to the service bus? So MuleSoft got like two connectors, right? So one connector is basically a management connector where with the help of that, like you can manage your Azure subscriptions, right? Sorry, ServiceBus subscriptions and entities, right? And another one which you got is Azure messaging connector, right? So this messaging connector gives you like functionality about like messaging. So I'm gonna start with ServiceBus connector, but before that, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just show you like how ServiceBus looks like, right? And then we can talk more about it. Okay, so this is a service bus, right? So as you see here, right? So this is a free tier, so free trial version. So and the pricing tier is basic. So as we saw in our demo, right? Like sorry, not demo, in our PPT, right? So it has only these two functionalities right now. If you look at here, and then you can see how many requests it received and all. It's very easy to create as well. Like you can assign IAM role. You can even see the activity logs, right? Like you can create like access policy. You can create different accesses here, right? Like let's say you got like different system, right? And you don't wanna share the same access key with them. Then you can use these things, right? And then you can see your queues here. No, and yeah, this is a service bus, and then yeah, this is how the portal looks like. And from the portal you can come here and you can see your like whatever service buses you have, and you can set up like these insights as well, like alerts, right? So if there are like multiple different kind of alerts, you can set it here. You can see the logs and everything, right? So if I'm going back to the presentation. Okay. So and yeah, one more thing, you can, so it's the same thing, right? The same thing which you saw it here, like you that can be used, right? Like from Visual Studio Code, right? So there is a plugin which you need to install, and the plugin name is Service Bus Explorer. So you can just connect it using the connection string, which you can get it from this guy, right? So it will generate it for you, and you can just connect to it, and it can be used in Service Bus Explorer plugin in Visual Studio Code, right? So as I say, right, like I got like two different service bus here. This is like a free tier one. So you're gonna see the same stuff here, no queue and no topic right now. So you don't see anything here, but like if I go to this service bus site, so you see I got like four topics, and in four topics, right, you see this topic, and in this topic, right, like there is a subscription, and in this topic you got one subscription, and then you got like another topic, right? So that can be explored, like you can explore that service bus subscription and everything from here. You can even manage it, like you can create entity and everything from here. Now let's go back to the presentation. So now in service bus management connector, right? So what all operations are allowed and how you can get it, right? So first you can go and search on the exchange, right? Like you can easily get this service bus management connector, and there is a POM dependency, right? Right now it's 1.0.0 version. So you can add this POM dependency and you can get this connector, right? So now what all operations are allowed, right? So the operations, right, like delete entity. So delete entity is basically you can delete a topic or a queue, right? So the topic and queue basically the MuleSoft is saying as an entity. For subscription, right? So for subscription, it's a different operation. Like you can delete that subscription for using this operation. Now delete rule. This delete rule is basically the one which we talk about, right? Like let's say if I wanna apply any filter on subscription level, right? So you can basically delete that rule using this operation. You can get the entity details, right? So let's say you got a topic, right? So now you wanna read those topic metadata kind of stuff. You can get those details from here. You can list the queues, you can list the topics, or whatever topics you got on your service bus, you can list using this operation. You can list a subscription. So the difference between queue and subscription is I would say a nothing, but the topic Subscription connects to topic. Queue is like just point to point. So queue is a separate, I would say, entity, but subscription comes with topic. So without topic, you cannot have subscription. That's the only difference. Otherwise, the functionalities are the same. Now, so get subscription, you can get the data, metadata of subscription. You can list the rules, whatever rules are present on that subscription, you can list it here. You can get a specific rule. You can create or update entity. That means you can either create or update like a topic or a queue, right? And then you can create, update the subscription, and you can create or update the rules. So these are allowed operations, right? Like with service bus management connector. Now I'm gonna go to the service bus connector. This the name itself is like service bus connector, right? But it does like everything related to message, right? So you can find this connector on our exchange, right? The service bus messaging connector, and then you can add this dependency. The latest version right now is 3.1.1. Previously, there was like older version, and it was different than this one. But this version came, I guess, somewhere middle of last year, right? So this is the latest version, and like the operations allowed on this connector is like abandon, right? So abandon is basically, let's say you don't want to acknowledge the message. So for that, it's this is useful. Let's say you got a message, but you don't want to acknowledge it. So in that case, you can use abandon feature, and the catch here is like abandon can be used only with this guy messaging message listener. You cannot use it like a standalone, but yeah, it has to be this connector as a source, right? Like as a starting point, and this will be your basically middle of the flow or end of the flow, right? Same goes with the complete is basically you are acknowledging some transaction. It's a operation, right? So let's say you receive a message, now you wanna acknowledge it, right? So in that case you can use this connector. We're gonna see this in our demo today. Receive is basically you wanna receive a message from topic or queue. So the difference between receive, so basically receive is like as soon as you receive it, yeah, the message will be deleted from the service bus. That's what receive does. Same goes with the batch. So in batch you can define the maximum number of message, and then let's say you define 10 as a maximum number of message, then it basically receive 10 like at a time. So that's receive batch. Send, you can send a message on the service bus from your MuleSoft application. Let's say you created a payload, now you want, so you can send it using this connector. Then there is a send batch message, batch of message. So let's say you got like a big process right now. Let's say you got 100K records. Now you wanna chunk those records, right? Like in, let's say, 1,000 batches, right? So you're gonna create like message of like 1,000 messages in a batch, and then you can use this connector to publish it on the service bus. Then message listener is basically when you want to listen the message, right? So let's say if system A is publishing message on the service bus and you are listening to that one. So difference between receive and listener gives you an ability to acknowledge it. In the case of receive is like as soon as you just receive it, it will be deleted automatically. So it's like receive and delete operation in these two guys. But in this one, like you, let's say you wanna perform some duty, after that you wanna acknowledge it. In that case, you can use this message listener, right? Now in this to have this complete and abandon, you need to have this as a source. You cannot have this two alone, like standalone, otherwise there is no use to have them, right? So that's all about this connector specifications, right? Now I'm just gonna talk about like couple of message properties, right? Like which comes along with message, right? Like from service bus. So you can get like correlation. You will receive like correlation ID. Correlation ID, you know that like for end-to-end journey. Then you will have a dead letter source, right? Yeah, so that will be also provided delivery count. Let's say it got like the delivery is like 2 3 times. You will receive those details. NQ time in UTC. So like it will basically see when it came expires, when it's gonna expire. Label. So label is useful when you wanna basically segregate the message, right? So for that, right, like you use this label. Lock token is basically when you wanna acknowledge the message, right? So you need to pass something so that like service bus will understand, right? Like let's say you got a message and now you need to tell the service bus, right? Like, okay, I'm acknowledging this message, right? So that's what the lock token is all about. Now lock until UTC, so you wanna lock the message for a particular time, right? So you can use this one, this particular feature. Until then that message won't be available, like it will be locked state. Message id is basically kind of a unique id of the message, right? Like which automatically gets generated on service bus. Partition key, like it's a partition, right? Like if you got like a huge messages, right? So in that case, this will be useful. Properties is like kind of a user property if you want to define something, right? So like let's say application specific stuff, right? So you can use this app properties like reply to, where you want to reply to session ID, same stuff with the session ID, then scheduled NQ. So it's like the feature which we talk about scheduled delivery. This is what it is, right? Like then sequence number is like a unique number which it automatically generates for each message, right? Like then session id is useful as we talk about like that FIFO functionality. In that case, this session id will be useful. Time to live, this for this time that message will be alive. That's the time to live. Two is basically for the future use for the broker, and then via partition key is like sent to a different transfer queue of the transaction, right? So that's where these are like this property is good to know about. Now what I'm gonna
Uh,
do, I'm gonna, yeah.
Hiren, we have one more question from Sunil.
Mm-hmm.
Does it support only a sync operation?
Yes, so consider this service bus as your queuing service along with like broadcasting feature. So you cannot have like a synchronous operation here. You will have like almost near real time of like functionality, but it's not real time.
Thanks, Hiren.
Okay, so next, like we're gonna have a demo, like how this can be used, right? So, okay, so today we're gonna basically cover like four different type of operations, right? So one we're gonna use send, right? Like how you can publish the message on the service bus. Then another one you're gonna use message listener, right? So and message listener with manual acknowledgement mode and how it can be useful in your scenario. Then we're gonna use the message listener with auto acknowledgement mode, right? So and what is the drawback and what is like a helpfulness of that one. And then we're gonna have like one service bus management feature, right? Like and we're gonna just get the entity details, right? So this all we're gonna cover right now. This project is running, and what we're gonna see here. Okay, so if you, I just like wanna share about like how this connector and its properties looks like, right? So you see here, right, in connector configuration, here you provide your namespace, you provide your access key name, and then the secret, right? You can get all of these details from your service bus in this section, right? So if you create service bus in future, you can get all of these details from this place. And these things are common, like response timeout, like connection forever, right? Like all those things. Now I'm going back to this in the message. Yeah, so here the destination name. So destination name is gonna be where you're gonna publish it, right? So in this case, right, like we are publishing it to a topic which you can see it here, right? So if you look at this one, I got like, okay, let me just, yeah. So I got like 4 topics here. I'm gonna publish on these 2 topics, right? Like Meetup demo, like auto and manual, right? So this is publishing on manual, and this is a body, right? So you will have basically a message, whatever you want to send, right? And this is sending on auto, right? So it will come to this topic, and as you see here, right, like you can create as many subscription as you want right here under this one, right? Like if I wanna, let's say, create a subscription test, right? So this will be created in this manual one, and the whenever I'm gonna send the message to this topic, you will see the message in this both subscriptions. So topic, what it will do, it will create a copy of the message for all of the subscription uh, who are like connected to that topic, right? So that's what it will do. Now I'm gonna go to this connector.
So we have lost Hiren. Let me ping, I think. Meanwhile, guys, if you have any question, you can put it in the chat. We'll just wait for Hiren to join back.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I don't know what happened. Okay.
So I think you can start with the demo part, like we were.
Okay. So in demo, right? Like, did I cover anything? Because I was speaking continuously. I don't know.
Yes. So I think this is the part where you were explaining it. So you can resume it from here.
Oh,
Thank you.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about this. I don't know what happened. Okay.
No.
So, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I was talking about this advanced feature like prefetch, right? Like if it is zero, then it's not prefetching anything. So my scenario of this demo, right? So let's say you receive a message on your service bus, right? So you wanna basically load that data into a file, right? And there is a let's say ActiveMQ, right? So you're gonna publish it, and from that ActiveMQ, like you wanna write it into the file. Now, let's say if something happens on ActiveMQ and you don't wanna lose the message, right? So in that scenario, right, you need to manually acknowledge it. So we're gonna see it, right, like how it holds up the message, right? And let's say if you use auto acknowledgement mode in this scenario, then what's gonna happen? So let's start with this one. I'm running this in debug mode, right? So let me just so yeah, I'm just bringing my postman here. So yeah, let's start with this guy. So I got this data, right? I'm just calling a post API of that application. I got this data. I just wanna load this set of employees, right, in a flat file, which is basically this guy. Okay, so I'm just gonna send it, and I'm using a header, right, like in which I'm sending like, okay, acknowledge it manually or auto, right? So that's what I'm setting up here. So this is sent. Okay, 1 second. Is it running? Let me run it again. Oh, okay, something is wrong with this guy. Okay, let me start it again. And I hope it doesn't publish the message. Yeah, you see this message here, right? Like it published a message, but the debugger didn't do anything. So you see this one, that means there is a one message which is present. And you can see this message as well, right? Like, okay. So if you open this in raw, right? So you can see this message like this one. And I'm just waiting for this guy to spin up, right? Oh, sorry about this one. Something is wrong with my system, it looks like.
No worries.
So, Iren, meanwhile,
Yeah.
when this comes up, I have a question on the schedule messages. So, you
Mm-hmm.
can schedule a message during any time of the day in that.
Yeah, you can do it, and there is a scenario, right? Like which you can, let's say, you wanna delay your message processing by 15 minutes, right? Let's say you know, right, like let's say you have this process running, and let's say you want to delay it. So there is a basically property that can be used to delay the message, and you can even set the time, right? Like let's say you receive a message in morning 6 a.m, but you want to like start processing that message at 10 a.m, so you can set that up. and you
So,
need to do it on the queue or subscription level.
so like setting the time, do we use any cron expression like that or something else?
Yeah, it's gonna be cron expression.
Okay. And suppose that message doesn't get like say 10 o'clock I choose and you know
Mm-hmm.
that message gets it doesn't get delivered, it fails. So what happens after that? We
So
will log
basically,
that.
yeah, we don't get any kind of notification because it's like the message is there, but it will appear at that particular time. So let's say if it is it reached at 6 a.m., but it will not appear until 10 a.m.
When at 10 it is sending it to the processing system and the processing
Mm-hmm.
system is not up or there's some problem with the processing system, the
Mm-hmm.
message, what happens, like it gets deleted because it's like it sends it to the
It
processing system, right?
Yeah, so it depends upon like how you are reading the message. Let's say if you are using this message listener and you are
Oh,
manually
okay.
acknowledging it, then it
Got
will
it.
stay there and then you can reuse it. But let's say if you are doing auto acknowledgement, or let's say if you are using receive, right? So in
Mhm.
that particular scenario, right, like you will not have that message again. Basically, you will lose it.
Oh, okay, yeah, got it.
Okay, I'm gonna publish the message. Okay. Thanks. It's working at least. Okay. So yeah, as you see, I just made a postman call. Now I'm just gonna publish this one. This variable is doing nothing but like grabbing the acknowledgement type so that like it can publish to the correct topic, right? So in our case, right, it's a manual, so it's gonna publish to the manual topic, right? So as you see, it came here, right? So I just wanna show the attributes, right? Like which all are coming here. You see this enqueue time, the timestamp when it's gonna expire, the label. We are not sending any label, so that's why it's null. It is locked until this particular time, right? You see this 18:48, so it will be locked for a minute. You see here, it came at 47:48. So until this time, right, like other cannot basically consume this message and all of these things. And the key part here is this lock token. So you use this token to acknowledge it, right? So I'm just gonna go next, and you see you acknowledge it. Now you won't see that message here, right? Like in this publish subscription, you will still see the message in test subscription because there is no consumer here, but you basically used it, so you won't see any message here. And I'm just writing it to the file. Now in this scenario, right, like now let's say in auto acknowledgement mode, right? So in that case as well, right? So I'm just gonna send this one with auto. So it should come here on this one, basically in this auto acknowledgement flow, right? As you see, it's here. You do not need to acknowledge this message because you set it up as a auto. So you see this lock token and all, or you will still receive this parameter, but you do not need to do anything, right? Even let's say if I go here and I didn't acknowledge it, but you won't see that message on this guy. Let me refresh it. So it will be out automatically in some time, like as per the time defined, right? So it will be out, and now, okay. Now assume the scenario, right? Let's say for some reason your some system is down. Let's say instead of this publish connector, you are using database, right? And now, oh, okay, so instead of let's say this JMS connector, right? Like let's say you got the database connector, right? And you don't want to lose any data. So in that case, right, like let's say this manual acknowledgement will be helpful, right? So what I'm gonna do here is like I'm just gonna stop that ActiveMQ on my local system, And now then you will see basically, right, like your message, you will not lose the message, right? That's what you will see. So I'm just gonna publish the message again. So I'm sending this message with the auto, right? So you see here, right, I removed this acknowledgement header, so it should go to the auto mode, and then you will see it, and you will basically lose this message. But if I'm gonna use it, so it will give you error because, yeah, it will, you will see this one existing as in post. And yeah, so you basically again lose the message. Now I'm sending this with manual header. I don't know, this is behaving weirdly right now. I think it is okay. Yeah, this is happening because it has this reconnect feature, right? So it is trying to reconnect this one. It has reconnect forever, so it's trying, and it's not basically consuming the next message. Let me do one thing. Let me quickly disable that one.
Here we have a question
Yeah.
from Welislaw. Uh, what is the max TTL for the undelivered messages?
Okay, that's a good question. I do not have that a hard number, but I need to check in like Azure's like description. Do not have that handy. But yeah, I'll send you that response like in some time. I just need to go through that document.
Sure, sure.
So basically, the point in this one is like if you manually, as like I think Mahesh asked, right? Like let's say, what happens? Let's say the processing of message, like let's say it gets failed, right? So what's gonna happen if you are acknowledging it manually, then you will not lose it. But let's say if it is on auto or immediate, right? So you will definitely lose that message because you are not locking that message, right? So you are not basically setting up like manual acknowledgement for it. So yeah, and if I come back here, it should be gone from this one because it holds for a minute and then it should go away. It should not hold this long. Okay, so yeah, it again, yeah, let me just send, and then this message is gone. You see, you have lost this message. This is in auto. Now, let's say if I'm gonna send a request using manual, my active MQ is right now stop, right? So you will see here, we are in manual. It will come here. It's failed. What's you again got the same message? You see, it failed. You again got the same message. It will not go out until your system is basically up and running. So what's going to happen, you will accumulate all the messages on your service bus for that particular period of time. So let's say if your database system got like maintenance with window of 2 hours, right? So you do not need to do anything at your end unless and until you are using a manual acknowledgement. If you are using auto, then you need to coordinate with the team. Your system has to be, your all consumer has to go away, right? So in that case you will not lose it. But if you use manual one, so the like it is basically your backend independent system. And now let's say if I just start this one, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start the ActiveMQ, and as soon as this will start, right? So you will basically process to the next step, right? Like, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just do here, right? So it came again. Now it should be out of the loop, you see? So you acknowledge it, it's out of the service bus now. So that's the really helpful use case. And right now we are using service bus, right? Like we are connecting to the third party system which resides like in their data, like let's say in customer data center, and we are and that application is publishing the message on service bus, and we are consuming it from our end and we are processing it. Yeah, and you can apply like a security policy on this service bus, right? Like you can whitelist, you can blacklist, all those basic features, right? Like you can do on the service bus. Any questions or anything? That question was TTL, right? Like a time to live, right? I need to just get that number. Okay. If no questions, then over to you, Anurag.
Hey, Anurag is away for a while. Meanwhile, if there are no questions, then you can ask the quiz questions, and then we can have the uh, people who have answered correctly. We can note down their names. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, we. So,
Sure. Okay.
yeah, can you? Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So the question one, right? So let's assume a scenario, right? Like your integration, right? Like you created a file and you put it on SFTP, right? Now should be processed by like let's say some third party system, right? And now you wanna confirm, right, like whether that file is processed or not, right? So let's say if file is processed, it should move to archive. If it is failed, then it should move to the error folder, right? So let's say you want to check this status of the file like after 15 minutes. So what feature can be used, right? Like what feature of Azure Service Bus can be used in this case?
Okay, yeah. So regarding this question, guys, you can answer in the chat. We are going to select the top 5 people who have answered it correctly. And if you guys want, we can repeat the question if you're not able to understand the question.
Yeah, let me start again. So basically, let's say your integration has created a file on SFTP, which third party consumes that file. And let's say after the consumption of the file, right? So it should, let's say if it is success, then it should move to archive. And let's say if it is failure, it should go to error. Now you wanna go back on the SFTP to check whether this file is processed or not, like after 15 minutes, right? So which inbuilt feature can be used for this? Like which inbuilt feature of service bus can be used in this scenario?
Okay. Hiren, can you put some options? It seems like
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, options like let's say you can use. Okay,
Can
I
you
think
put
we
put?
got the answer, but
Oh, we got
so
the
yeah,
answer. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
we
the
then
yeah.
Karan has answered it correctly, so we don't have to do that wheel of names thing that we were thinking of. So, Karan, you can put your email ID. Uh, yeah, we'll send the request later once our session is over. Uh, okay, let's go to the next question, Hiren.
Sure. Okay, so question two, right? So let's say if you wanna disable prefetching from like on your service bus message listener connector, so what should be done? How you can basically disable it?
Okay. How to disable prefetching in MuleSoft Service Bus Message Listener Connector.
Yeah.
Any answers for this one, guys? Yeah, it seems tough.
Is it
Maybe
is
Ra-
it
Hired
is
you
it
can, maybe Hired you can pick three options and
Yeah.
they can choose like
Yeah,
what's the correct
we
option.
need options. People are more
Three.
like,
maybe I went too much in technical?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, I'm just gonna write it down here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, option A, set the fetch to null. B. So this is a property in advanced tab, right? To -1. I'm making it easy. I'm just giving you three options.
Yeah. So Sujata
Okay.
has answered C, C, B, C, B, C, B, B, C, B. Yeah. We have a lot of answers now. What is the correct answer, Hiren?
It's C.
C. So we
And
have
but yeah, it comes with default as a 0,
okay.
and that means that it's not prefetching.
Okay, then Sujata has answered that correctly. So Sujata, congratulations. You can put your email ID in the chat.
Okay,
Thanks
I think
everyone for
this,
answering. Yeah.
yeah, and I think this should be easy because we iterated so many times. Okay, so
Yeah.
what is the use of lock token attribute of the Azure message?
Okay, let's see. You have asked a descriptive question, Hiren. That's
It's
really
okay. Let me just write it down then.
Yeah, it's not really. Yeah.
okay. Sujata, can you write down your email ID? Did we get the Sujata's email ID? Okay, she has. Okay, I got I got her email ID. Okay. Okay. Okay.
I think it's another Sujata. Yeah, looks like B seems to be the answer.
Okay. So this is the question. And
I think it's Sujata has answered.
oh, again.
No, I think there are two Sujatas in the.
No, I think it is Susmita.
No, Sujata G.
Oh,
I have.
sorry, yeah,
Yeah,
Sushmita.
I have
Sorry,
pasted.
sorry.
no worries.
I had confused.
Yeah.
Sushmita.
So question 3. George has answered that B to acknowledge the
I
message.
think no, Sushmita has answered
So
it as
yeah, Susmita, then
Yeah,
Sushmita has
Susan.
answered it as B.
it's starting from Susmita,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Samson, Karan, and George, and yeah, they
Okay.
have answered. That's
Okay.
for the third.
Sorry, my bad. so Sushmita has answered that correctly. Sushmita is winner for the third question. Okay.
Yeah. And on the question, right, like the, on TTL,
Mhm.
so it depends upon the which tier you are having. So let's say if you got basic tier, then maximum is 14 days.
Okay.
If you got standard tier, then it will live there forever. That's what it says.
Okay. 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 Thanks, Hiren. Thanks a lot. It was a really insightful session. Uh, yeah. So I'll go to the next part of it. And guys, after this session, please provide your feedback. Uh, and Susmita, please provide your email ID to us so that, okay, we have her email
Okay.
ID. Okay.
Yeah. Sushmita provided, and did you get the email from Sujata?
I have pasted it into the chat. You
Oh
should,
yeah. Okay, got
yeah,
it. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. So thanks a lot, everyone. Please provide your feedback. regarding this session, and we'll see you in the next meetup. Yeah, thanks, Irene.
Yeah.
It was
Thank
fun.
you, guys. Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
It was really nice.
Guys. Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank you.